help me! Don't let them do this! Enough of this nonsense. You are coming with me!
The dampness of the basement walls smells like rotting wood and forgotten memories, a scent that has become my only companion for the last 90 excruciating days. Thunder rumbles overhead, shaking the floorboards of the magnificent Victorian manor above me, the very house I bought with my late husband's sweat and blood 40 years ago. But now, I am nothing more than a ghost in my own home, chained to a rusted radiator like a rabid dog while my son, Oliver, and his venomous wife, Charlotte, sip expensive champagne in the drawing room. They think I have lost my mind. They think the sedatives they forced down my throat have turned my brain to mush. But they have made a grave error in their calculation, because whilst they were busy planning my funeral to sell this estate, they forgot that walls have ears and the smallest feet make the quietest steps. Just as the lightning cracks, illuminating the horrifying scratches I have made on the wall counting the days, a tiny beam of light appears under the heavy oak door. A small, trembling hand slides a piece of paper and a rusted iron key across the cold concrete floor. It is Miss High, my 6-year-old granddaughter, the only pure soul left in this nest of vipers, and as I unfold the crumpled note written in crayon, my heart hammers against my ribs because it says, "Daddy, Daddy is selling the house tomorrow, and the lady in the red dress is sleeping in your bed." The lady in the red dress is Sonia, Oliver's secret mistress, the woman he moved in the day they dragged me down here, and reading those words ignites a fire in my veins that no sedative can extinguish. I am not going to die down here. I am not going to let them erase me. Tonight, the chains come off, and the dead will rise to crash their celebration. But to understand the sweetness of the revenge I am about to take, you must understand the bitterness of the poison they fed me. It all started 3 months ago on a Sunday afternoon, the day of the accident. I remember sitting at the head of the mahogany dining table, looking at Oliver, my only son, the boy I had raised single-handedly after his father passed away in the coal mines. He was smiling at me, cutting a slice of my favorite Victoria sponge cake, but his eyes were cold, devoid of the warmth a son should have for his mother. "Eat up, Mum," he had said, pushing the plate towards me. "Charlotte made it especially for you." I took a bite, trusting them, loving them, unaware that the sweetness on my tongue was masking a heavy dose of benzodiazepines. Within 10 minutes, the room began to spin. The faces of my son and daughter-in-law twisted into grotesque shapes. I tried to stand to call for help, but my legs turned to jelly. As I slumped onto the floor, paralyzed but conscious, I heard Charlotte laugh, a chilling, high-pitched sound that haunts my nightmares. "Finally," she whispered, stepping over my helpless body to check her reflection in the mirror. "Is she dead?" Oliver asked, nudging me with his foot as if I were a bag of rubbish. "No, just out cold. Let's get her downstairs before the doctor arrives. Remember the script, Oliver. She has dementia, she fell, she's aggressive." I wanted to scream to tell them I was awake, but the darkness swallowed me whole. When I woke up, I wasn't in a hospital. I was here, in the dark, in the cold, with a heavy chain padlocked around my ankle and a bowl of water on the floor. They had buried me alive in my own home. For the first month, I cried until my tear ducts ran dry. I begged Oliver when he came down to throw scraps of food at me. "Why, son? Why are you doing this?" I would ask, my voice breaking. He would just sneer, looking at his Rolex, the one I bought him for his 30th birthday. "It's nothing personal, Mum, it's just business. This house is worth £5 million. You're sitting on a gold mine and refusing to sell. We need the money. Charlotte wants a villa in Tuscany, and well, I have debts. Debts. My son had gambled away his inheritance and was now selling his mother's life to pay the bookies. They told the world I had died of a sudden stroke. They even held a funeral. Can you imagine the horror? Sitting in the darkness of your basement, hearing the muffled sounds of a priest reading your last rites directly above your head. Hearing your neighbors and relatives crying, eating sandwiches, and saying what a lovely woman I was, while I screamed into a gag made of dirty rags just 10 feet below them. It broke me. It shattered my soul into a million pieces. But then, Miss High found me. It was week 5 when I heard the tiny click of the lock. Miss High had been told I was in heaven, but children are curious. She had found the basement key in Oliver's jacket. When she opened that door and saw me, chained, dirty, skeletal, she didn't scream, she didn't run. She walked up to me with tears in her big brown eyes and whispered, "Daddy, are you playing hide and seek?" My heart bled. I beckoned her close, putting a finger to my lips. Yes, darling, I rasped, my throat dry. It's a secret game, a spy game. You cannot tell Daddy or Mummy or I lose the game. Can you be my secret spy? That day, my innocent little Miss High became my eyes and ears. She became the warrior I needed. Every night, she would sneak down with extra food, a bread roll, an apple, sometimes just a chocolate bar she saved from her lunchbox. But more importantly, she brought me information. She told me about Sonia, the lady in red, who Oliver introduced as a house guest but who slept in my bedroom and wore my pearls. Miss High told me about the auction. She told me that tomorrow, at 9 a.m., the developers were coming to sign the papers to demolish this house and build luxury flats. Demolish. They weren't just selling my home, they were erasing my history. That brings us to tonight. The storm outside is raging, matching the storm inside my heart. Miss High's note came with a key, not the key to the door, but the key to the padlock on my leg. She must have stolen it from Oliver's keyring whilst he was passed out drunk last night. My hands are shaking as I fit the rusted key into the lock. Click, the sound of freedom. The heavy iron chain falls from my ankle, leaving behind bruised, raw skin, but the pain is nothing compared to the adrenaline coursing through me. I stand up, my legs weak from months of atrophy, but I force them to hold my weight. I walk to the corner of the damp room where a loose brick hides my arsenal. Over the last 3 weeks, Miss High has smuggled me things. A voice recorder she took from Oliver's study, a small flashlight, and my old diary. I pull out the recorder. I have listened to it 100 times, but I listen one last time to fuel my rage. Miss High had hidden it under the sofa in the living room 3 days ago. Oliver's voice crackles through the tiny speaker. Once the sale goes through tomorrow, we put Miss High in boarding school. I can't stand her staring at me. And the old hag downstairs, we stop feeding her. Let nature take its course. Nature take its course. He planned to starve me to death. I pocket the recorder. This is my weapon. This is my sword. I move towards the stairs. The heavy wooden door at the top is locked, but the hinges are old, and I know this house better than anyone. I know that the wood around the frame has rotted from the damp. I don't need a key, I need leverage. I pick up the heavy iron bar from the broken radiator. I climb the stairs, one agonizing step at a time. The music from upstairs is loud, jazz. Oliver always hated jazz, but he's playing it to impress the buyers. He's celebrating my death with my own record collection. I reach the top landing. I can hear them laughing. To the sale, to 5 million, Oliver shouts. Clinking glasses, cheers. I jam the iron bar into the gap of the door frame and push with every ounce of strength left in my frail body. Wood splinters, the lock groans. With a final, silent heave, the door pops open. I step out into the hallway. The light is blinding. The air smells of expensive perfume and roasted duck. I see my reflection in the hallway mirror for the first time in 90 days. I look like a witch, gray hair matted, face gaunt, clothes torn and stained with mold. But my eyes are burning with the fire of justice. I am not a victim anymore. I am the executioner. I creep down the hallway, hiding in the shadows of the grand pillars. The drawing room is full. I see the lawyer, Mr. Henderson, a man I trusted for 20 years, laughing with Charlotte. He is in on it, too. Of course he is. Everyone has a price. And there is Sonia, sitting on my favorite armchair, wearing my emerald necklace, the one my husband gave me on our 25th anniversary. She is stroking Oliver's arm, whispering in his ear. Charlotte is on the other side of the room, boasting to a group of wealthy investors about how she renovated the house. Yes, the previous owner was a bit of a hoarder, she says, laughing. We had to clear out so much rubbish. Rubbish. She calls my life rubbish. I signal Miss High. My brave little soldier is hiding behind the curtains near the fuse box. She sees me. Her eyes widen, but she nods. She knows the plan. We practice the signal. I raise my hand. Miss High reaches up and pulls the main lever. The moment Miss High pulls the lever, the manor is plunged into a suffocating, inky blackness. The jazz music dies instantly, replaced by a symphony of gasps, the shattering of crystal glasses dropping to the floor, and the panicked murmurs of the elite guests who are suddenly stripped of their sight and their comfort. What's going on? Oliver's voice rings out, trembling with an anxiety that he tries to disguise as authority. Stay calm, everyone. Just a tripped fuse. Charlotte, get the candles. In the chaos, I move. I don't need light. I have lived in the dark for 3 months. I know exactly where the center of the room is. I glide across the Persian rug like a specter, my bare, bruised feet making no sound. I can hear Sonia whimpering near the fireplace, and Mr. Henderson, the corrupt lawyer, fumbling for his phone. I reach the center of the room, right in front of the grand fireplace, and I strike a match. The flame flares to life, small at first, but in the pitch black, it is blinding. I light the large candelabra on the table beside me. As the glow expands, casting long, dancing shadows against the walls, faces begin to emerge from the dark. First, the confused investors, then the terrified staff, and finally Oliver and Charlotte. They are standing just 5 feet away from me. As the light hits my face, gaunt, pale, with eyes that have seen the depths of hell, Charlotte screams. It is a primal, blood-curdling scream that freezes everyone in place. Oliver drops his glass of scotch. It smashes against his polished shoes, soaking his socks, but he doesn't move. He stares at me, his mouth opening and closing like a fish out of water, his face draining of all color until he looks more dead than I do. "Gee, ghost," he stammers, backing away until he hits the table. "It's her ghost. She's come back." "I am no ghost, Oliver," I say, my voice low but cutting through the silence like a jagged blade. "Ghosts don't bleed, ghosts don't starve, and ghosts certainly don't hold the deed to the house you are trying to sell." The room erupts into whispers. The investors are looking from me to Oliver, confusion turning to suspicion. "Who is this woman?" one of the buyers asks, stepping forward. "You said the owner was deceased." I turn to him, holding the iron bar I used to break the door, looking every bit the warrior queen rising from the ashes. "I am the owner," I declare, pointing a shaking finger at my son. "And that man, my own flesh and blood, poisoned me, drugged me, and chained me in the basement like an animal so he could steal my legacy." Charlotte snaps out of her shock first. Her greed is stronger than her fear. She lunges forward, her face twisted into a mask of pure evil. "She's lying. She's senile. She escaped from the mental facility," she shrieks, grabbing my arm with her manicured claws. "Security, get this madwoman out of here." But before the security guards can take a single step, a high-pitched voice echoes from the balcony above. "Stop!" It is Miss High. She is standing on the mezzanine, holding the Bluetooth speaker connected to the voice recorder. "Let go of my daddy," she screams, and she presses play. The sound that fills the room is not music, but the undeniable sound of guilt. It is a recording from 2 nights ago, clear and crisp. Oliver's voice booms through the speakers. "I'm telling you, Sonia, the old hag won't last another week down there. The damp is getting to her lungs. Once she kicks the bucket, we cremate her fast, no autopsy. Then I dump Charlotte, take the 5 million, and you and I fly to the Maldives." The silence that follows is heavier than the darkness before. The air leaves the room. Every eye turns to Charlotte. Her grip on my arm loosens. She steps back, looking at Oliver with a betrayal that matches my own. "You," she whispers, her voice trembling. "You were going to dump me." Oliver is sweating profusely now, shaking his head. "No, no, Char, baby, it's fake, it's AI, it's a trick." But the recording continues. Sonia's voice laughs on the tape. "Make sure you sign the divorce papers before the money hits the account, Ollie. I don't want that nurse getting a penny." The revelation hits the room like a bomb. The villains turn on each other. Charlotte screams like a banshee and launches herself at Sonia, tearing at her red dress, pulling her hair. "You witch! You stole my husband! You helped me kill her for nothing!" In her rage, she confesses. "You helped me kill her." The words hang in the air, captured by the dozens of phones now filming the scene. The investors are backing away, disgusted. The lawyer is trying to sneak out the French windows, but I anticipated this. "Nobody leaves," I shout, banging the iron bar on the table. The sound commands absolute obedience. I may be old, I may be weak, but I am not stupid. Outside, the wail of sirens grows louder, cutting through the storm. Blue lights flash through the windows, painting the room in strokes of police authority. Miss High didn't just cut the lights, she dialed 999. The front doors burst open. "Police! Nobody move!" 4 officers storm in, tasers drawn. They see the chaos. The fighting women, the cowering son, and the frail old woman holding a candelabra. Oliver sees the police and breaks down. He falls to his knees, crawling towards me, grabbing the hem of my dirty, torn skirt. Tears stream down his face, tears of fear, not remorse. Mum, please, tell them it's a misunderstanding. I'm your son, your little Ollie. Look, I was trying to protect you. Please, don't let them take me." I look down at him. I see the little boy I used to carry on my shoulders. I see the teenager I nursed through fevers. And then I see the man who watched me rot in a dungeon. I feel a tear roll down my cheek, but I wipe it away. "My son died 3 months ago, the day he poisoned my tea," I say softly, loud enough for the police to hear. You are just a stranger who broke into my house. I pull my skirt from his grip and step back. Officer, I want to press charges. Attempted murder, fraud, and false imprisonment. Take them away. As the handcuffs click onto Oliver's wrists, he screams, begging, pleading, blaming Charlotte, blaming Sonia, blaming the debts. But I turn my back on him. I walk over to the stairs where Miss High is running down. I catch her in my arms, burying my face in her small shoulder. She smells of innocence and bravery. The police drag the screaming trio out into the rain. The lawyer is intercepted in the garden. The guests, ashamed and horrified, mutter their apologies and flee into the night. Finally, the house is quiet. The storm outside begins to settle. I sit on the bottom step, exhausted, my body aching but my spirit soaring. I look at Miss High, who is holding the key to the basement in her hand. "We won, Daddy," she whispers. "Yes, my love," I reply, kissing her forehead. "We won." I look around the empty hall. It will take time to clean the stain of their greed from these walls. I will have to sell the jewelry to pay for a good lawyer to ensure they rot in prison for a long time. But I have the two things that matter most, my life and the truth. They say blood is thicker than water, but sometimes blood is the very thing that drowns you. I learned the hard way that the devil doesn't come with horns. He comes with a smile and calls you mother. But they forgot one thing. You can break a woman's bones, but you cannot break a grandmother's will to protect the innocent. If this story shook you to your core, if you believe that justice was served today, then hit that like button and share this video. Warn your family, hug your children, and remember, I am Grandma Truth, and here, the guilty have nowhere to hide. Subscribe for the next chapter.